I'm Adam. And I'm Easter. And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way. Hey, Easter, are you much of a reader?
Sure, I'm always reading a book.
Do you have a favorite genre?
I like biographies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are so many interesting people out there.
Any suggestions for a good one?
I just finished reading an advanced copy of Humpty Dumpty's biography.
I didn't know that he was much of a writer. When does his book come out?
Oh, not until the fall. Get it? The fall?
Ah, jeez. I can't believe I fell for that one. In today's book, another book wants nothing more than to go on an adventure. Let's get started. Book's Big Adventure, written by Adam Lehrhaupt, illustrated by Rahele Jomepour Bell. Book was new, the cover bright and shiny, its home a prominent shelf. Book had many adventures, in a car, at a picnic, during bedtime. Book was happy. One day, Book was moved to a different shelf, a lower, less friendly shelf. Over time, Book's cover faded. The title grew hard to read.
Hey Adam, what's the best adventure that you've ever gone on?
There are so many. You know how I like to travel. So every time I go on vacation, it's like a whole new adventure. I've gone ziplining, went tubing in underground caves, hiked mountains alongside waterfalls. It's all been great. What about you?
It's hard topping your worldly adventures.
It's not a competition.
I remember one time when I was a kid, when I once accidentally dug up a whole row of carrots thinking I had discovered buried treasure. Grandma wasn't too pleased, but we had a good laugh about it.
I lied. It is a competition, and you just lost.
Hey!
Book went on fewer and fewer adventures. Day after day, Book sat on the new shelf. It watched as other books arrived and left on adventures of their own. Book was lonely, forgotten. It wondered if its travels were over. It longed for one last adventure. But Book's cover didn't have bright pictures of knights or princesses, fancy cars or fast trains. So no one noticed it. Book sat on its shelf, longing, wishing, until it was bumped. It tumbled. There it sat, day after day. No one found it. Book began to lose hope. Aw, poor Book, it got lost. That can be a terrible feeling.
Didn't you get lost at the zoo once?
Yeah. I was probably 10 or 11 and just reaching that point where my parents gave me enough freedom that I could wander off a bit.
So what happened?
Well, you know me. I love animals and there are lots of things to learn about them at zoos. I like to read all the signs that people walk past so I can learn interesting facts.
Yeah, like your buddy Chester.
Exactly. Well, I was reading a sign and I looked up and my family was gone. So I walked around and looked for them, but I couldn't find them.
Why didn't you just call them?
Well, this was before everyone had cell phones. Do you know what the worst part was?
That feeling of anxiety you get when you don't know where you are or where the people you were with went?
Yeah, that was bad. But the worst thing was that it happened to me 2 times on that trip.
It sounds like you are the worst.
One night, a light slashed through the darkness. A kind face leaned in. Book was picked up, dusted off, read. Book felt hope pour through its pages. Was this it? The next big adventure? But then Book was dropped, covered, and there it lay, silent, sad. This wasn't a fun adventure. Book was about to give up when suddenly Book was chosen again, given, received, loved. Book went on many new adventures, to a museum, to a basketball court, even to Book's favorite, a classroom. Book was given a brand new home, and Book was very, very happy.
That's great. Book found a new friend. And at the library, That's where I used to find a bunch of my friends. Wait, you used to go to the library and make friends there? Back in the day, your grandma would take me to the library with her. While she read her books, I would explore the shelves and strike up conversations with people, or other animals that sneaked in. It was quite the adventure. Wow, I had no idea you were such a social bunny. There was the day that I ventured into the mystery novel section. I met a sleek black cat named Midnight who was convinced he was the reincarnation of a famous detective. We spent hours discussing the art of deduction and solving crimes like missing bookmarks. Midnight the Detective Cat, huh? Sounds like quite the character. If you think you've found a new friend with us, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Adam. And I'm Easter. And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way.
Author's note. I have a huge collection of books, so many that some of them live in boxes instead of on their shelves. That's no place for a book to live. One day I was visiting a school to talk to the students, and I asked the librarian what happens to the books they don't have space for. She told me a wonderful story about how her school donates the excess books each summer to readers who don't have big book collections of their own. I love this idea. Not only would it help give new life to my beloved books, but it would let new readers develop their own attachment to them. I dove right in to figure out where I could send my collection. It turns out there are a lot of places that are looking for book donations. Luckily for you, I've already done the research. With that said, this list is by no means complete. There are many smaller local organizations that your school, library, or community center can tell you about. Just ask. Book donation ideas. Women's shelters. These shelters provide a safe place for women and their children. Books are the perfect distraction and can be a bright light in a difficult time. Free Little Library. These libraries can be found in neighborhoods all over the country. Readers can take and return books as they please. You can add your books to an existing site or build your own. Doesn't that sound like fun? littlefreelibrary.org. Kids Need to Read and Reader to Reader. These organizations provide books to schools, libraries, and literacy programs for communities that are most in need, including inner city schools, Native American reservations, small rural towns, and many more. Sounds like the kind of place your books would love to visit. kidsneedtoread.org. readertoreader.org. The Salvation Army. Established in 1865 and helping in 130 countries around the world, this organization provides books for disaster relief and homeless shelters, as well as much more. Your books can find great happiness here. satruck.org/dropoff. Goodwill. This nonprofit accepts book donations for their resale stores. Proceeds from these stores fund training and programs to help people overcome challenges, to build skills, find jobs, and grow their careers. Imagine all the good your books can do here. Goodwill.org. Books for Africa and the African Library Project. These organizations are working toward ending the cycle of poverty and illiteracy in Africa. Their books are used to create school libraries and literacy programs. I bet your books would love to go on this amazing trip. Booksforafrica.org, AfricanLibraryProject.org. Did you know some of the earliest books that combine both words and pictures, and that were read by younger people, are the Japanese illustrated scrolls of the 12th and 13th centuries?